welcome. What's up, Bill? How you doing, man? Um, Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to 360 Podcast, man. This is my first podcast with a great guy, you guys. Very intelligent, very smart brother. I'm gonna let him explain to you people who he is and where he's from and what he does. Um, Once again, thank you, Bill. This is my first podcast. Gonna see if we can make this work. Bill, let the people out there know who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark. Pleasure and it's an honor to be your first guest on your podcast. My name is Bill Hampton. I'm the owner of Hampton Tax and Financial Services. My firm is a comprehensive financial services firm. We help our clients with everyday finances. That includes tax return preparation, tax planning, financial planning, wills, trust, LLC formations, life insurance, and also business financing. I recently added business financing to my arsenal.
Cool, cool. So, what inspires you to start your business, Bill?
Okay. Well, I previously worked on Wall Street. I was a licensed financial advisor. I did that for a number of years. I relocated down to the Atlanta area and I started a business with a business partner. The idea was that my partner was a CPA and they would do the taxes and I would do the financial planning side. We ran a business for a couple of years and then I decided to go out on my own and run my own business. And, gradually over the years, I built up my business. Since 2010, I've been doing taxes and tax planning and just added, additional services over the years to help my clients.
Okay, with that being said, what was the biggest hurdles you faced moving to Atlanta? I think you said you one time I think you told me you worked in Wall Street area, right? Or did you say that? Because
Yes.
what was your
Yeah.
biggest hurdle moving to Atlanta to start your business?
Well, I didn't come to Atlanta to originally start a business. I had a, 9 to 5 job. I was doing that for a while. And I decided to start a business and I started on the side. Like most business people, want to start a business, you start it on nights and weekends while you are doing your 9 to 5. And then I was able to transition and leave the 9 to 5 and do the business full time.
Oh, that's cool. But how did you? I know with all business people we face challenges, right? So how did you overcome these initial challenges, right? And then if you had to secure funding, where do you get the funding from to start your business?
Okay. Well, like most business owners, initial challenge was, you have an idea and you have to figure out how you're going to implement it. So, initial challenge was creating a business plan. I mean, you have to write down your ideas and put them on paper. A lot of times, what I see with business owners who, try to say, "Hey, I'm going to start a business," they don't like think things out. They don't write down a plan. Think about, hey, the financing, where's that going to come from? And my business was self-financed. I was able to, use my own capital to start a business like most business owners. But we did a business plan. We wrote down our ideas on the financing side, the client acquisition, how we're going to find clients, our marketing plan, what the financials would look like, and we were able to self-fund it, and until it started generating enough income. But that's less common with a lot of new businesses. You have to self-fund it and save up your money, and then use that capital. Other businesses, you may be able to get loans or from friends or family or from a bank or a credit union, but in order to do that, you got to have a plan. There's an old saying: if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So one of the best things that business owners can do is just write a business plan, and it's not that hard nowadays. You can go on Google and Google, business plan for tax firm or business plan for a T-shirt business, and there are plenty of examples on Google, that you can utilize. Or another option is just go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to write the business plan for you. So there's no excuse that you can't get a business plan written and get your ideas down on paper nowadays.
That's facts, and ChatGTP will do that with no problem. And if you got the right prompts, so people got to understand that it works off prompts. So you got to have the right prompts, and it'll teach you a lot of things. And with that being said, before ChatGTP came out, all like I said, once again, we all had challenges, and we're gonna speak on challenges and overcoming these obstacles because with it wasn't no so people couldn't go back when we first started businesses, go back and talk to ChatGPT and say, okay, I need to start it was always someone wanting to sell you a course or somebody who wants to, to teach you how to go do some free stuff, sorry, like getting the EIN, which is free, or going down to the or your Secretary of State and getting a business license and incorporating yourself and things like that. A lot of people don't know that stuff is not expensive, but you have people want to sell your courses and not trying to knock no hustle. I'm here to give a lot of people the free information, like I said before, uh, because it's enough out there for everyone, right? We're not
Absolutely.
greedy. We're not greedy, man. We both from Jersey, you know. I mean, we they call us grimy, but we're both from Jersey. But this is what I want to talk about. Before the chat GTP stuff, right? Before the person can go out there and get their freedom and teach them how to do it. What motivates you during the difficult times? Because I know there was situations where he's like, okay, how am I gonna start this? I was working a 9 to 5, but how am I gonna start this business? You know, you already talked about the finances, but there's obstacles in every business that you got to overcome.
Absolutely.
So how did
Absolutely.
you motivate yourself during those difficult times to continue your business?
Well, I mean, I started my business part time, so it wasn't like I needed to live off of the money. I was able to, still, have my 9 to 5 and do that while I was starting the business. So I didn't have the financial difficulties. But what happened is that it has capacity. You can only do so much, if you're working 9 to 5 and then on nights and weekends. So I had to, find a team. And that's what a lot of business owners find as a challenge is that you can't do everything and you have to delegate some things and you have to find a team. So that's one of the important steps that business owners can take to get past that hurdle is find team members that can help you do what you want to do, and so you can delegate that work. And I was able to find, a team of tax preparers. I interviewed, different people. I was in a Facebook group, and there's Facebook groups for all types of businesses, for tax businesses, for you name it. There's a tax group for real estate investors, etc. So I was in these groups, and I was networking with other, tax business owners, and I was able to, find some contacts and find some employees that I could help bring on my team and help expand, and get help with doing the tax returns. I wasn't able to do, hundreds of tax returns a year by myself, and I came to the realization I was, killing myself working, night, day, and weekends, and I was like, well, let me try something different. And a partnership was the way to go. And I found a partner that I could work with and help delegate the work, and that helped me expand my business. And then I didn't have to worry so much about doing all of the tax returns. I could focus on finding the clients and then bringing in the work. And then what I couldn't accomplish, I had a team to help me accomplish. And that's what business owners have to do to get to that next level. Sometimes is hire team members, delegate some of the work so you can focus on bringing in the business and still do some of the work, but have a team to help you accomplish your goals.
But with that being said, getting a great team and getting these people aligned with your business, business goals, it's kind of difficult. Sometimes you can find somebody who it's not going to fit. But how do
Mm-hmm.
you maintain a strong team culture? Like you find your people, you got your people. This is the people I want. Now, how do y'all maintain? How do you maintain that? Like, how do y'all work together to maintain?
Well, it takes a lot of communication. You have to sit down and you have to talk about what your goals are, and you have to explain that to your team members and explain that, hey, this is what we're trying to do, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what I'm going to handle, this is what I need for you to handle, and then you communicate and you check in. I check in, on a regular basis with my team. How's it going? What's been completed, what's hasn't been completed, and it's a constant check in. Especially in the beginning when it's still new, but then once you have that team in place and they know what they're supposed to be doing, then you don't have to check in as often. You can check in maybe weekly and say, hey, what did you accomplish this week? Or, let me know what returns have been completed so far. And then, you have to also, check their work. When you have somebody doing something for you, you may have a particular way that you want it done. So you can't outsource it completely. You still have to sort of be hands-on and say, hey, yes, I trust you, but I'm still going to, verify and make sure it's accurate because my name is on the business and I'm going to be the one eventually that is presenting that information to the clientele. So it's
That's
about
cool.
checking in, it's about communication, and it's also about, checking the quality of the work.
It's always about both of those, especially definitely communication, because 99% of the time, communication can destroy your business or make your business better. That's cool. With that being said, with so many people in the same industry you are in, right? How do you differentiate your business against some other tax preparer or some other financial advisor, or, in the market? How do you do that?
Sure. So, in my business, my tax business, I decided to, find a niche and work with a specific type of clientele. Think of it like doctors or lawyers. Like you're doctors and you're a specialist. You're going to have some doctor that's going to be a heart surgeon. Another doctor is going to be a brain surgeon. Another doctor is going to be a pediatrician. They find a specialty and that's what they focus on, and they become a subject matter expert in that area. And that's what I decided to do with my tax business. I decided that I was going to focus on a niche. And my niche is real estate investors and business owners. Like 90% of my clients are real estate investors. So I'm a real estate investor. That's an area that I understand. So I decided to pick that as my niche and grow my business that way. I find that you can grow your business better or faster if you find a niche and you become the expert in that niche, and then you focus on that area. And then you can speak that language of that particular client. Whether you want to focus on doing taxes for lawyers, for doctors, or whatever, it's good to find your niche. And then also, I decided even before the pandemic to have my firm run virtually. I did not want to have a office. I tried an office, and it didn't really fit with what I wanted. I found that spending a lot of time in office wasn't you know wasn't productive. So I decided to go virtual, and that was before the pandemic. So I had systems in place. So when the pandemic happened, there was no effect on my business. I mean, I was able to seamlessly do what I was doing. And, obviously other businesses had to transition during the pandemic to using Zoom and using software and things like that. But I already had that in place. So that actually helped my business by having those systems in place beforehand. So when the pandemic came, I was still able to help clients and, able to transition them from doing things or transition clients that have been used to doing things on paper and in person to doing them online and using secure portals and other forms of communication.
That's cool, brother. I have a question though. So you've been in this
Sure.
business for a long time, and there's more
Yep.
aspiring people that want to do business like this, have a business, any business, right? What advice do you give an aspiring entrepreneur who may want to pursue a field in um, taxes or financial management and things like that? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Okay, well, that's a good question. What advice I would give is to go and work for a firm and work for somebody that's doing what you want to do. There are plenty of tax firms out there, CPA firms, that have older business owners that are looking to retire or are looking to get out of the business. Well, go work for one of those firms for a couple of years, and then, if you're good at what you do, that owner might end up selling the business to you. I see on bulletin boards on a regular basis that people are looking to sell their businesses. And those people are looking to sell because they're either, they're older, they're tired, they want to retire, and they sometimes don't have employees that want to take over the business or don't have employees that, at all. So they have to end up selling. So if you really want to get into this business, go work for a firm that does what you want to do, and any kind of business, whether it's a plumbing business, whether you want to be an electrician, go and work for somebody. Learn the business inside and out, and then you can go start your own business, or you could potentially take over that person's business when they're ready to retire. But you're going to be learning a valuable skill set, and the only way you can learn is by doing it. That's the way I would recommend somebody who wants to get into my line of work.
Nice, because tell people this all the time. You got to in the if you're in the right place at the right time, and somebody said they want to sell their business, or you've been working for this person for a long time, they might say, "Hey, I'm about to get out the business. Would you mind me allowing you to take over the business and it'll be yours and you don't owe me anything?" And I've seen that happen a lot. And, that's a good thing for people. Some people don't have to just work from the ground up. I mean, as far as
Hmm.
skills you do, but just to get a business, this is all about being in the right place at the right time. With that being said,
Absolutely.
in your business, How do you approach your networking and building valuable business relationship with your clients? Like, how would you explain that to an entrepreneur, how to go out there and continue building a great relationship with your client? Because some people destroy their relationships with their clients by not
Well,
communicating well. Well, so what advice would you give a person?
sure. So networking is definitely helpful to a business owner when you're first starting up. What I tell people to do is go to where your clients are at. If you want to have doctors as clients, join the local medical association. If you want to have lawyers as clients, join the lawyers association. Go to their meetings and then volunteer. Volunteer to be on in a committee or volunteer to be on a board. So when I was starting my business, I joined a local real estate investors association. I started going to the meetings. And then what I found was that these real estate investors associations, they met every month and they need a speaker every month. So I volunteered to be a speaker and speak on taxes for real estate investors. So, every, November, December, I would, talk about tax tips or tax deductions real estate investors can take. And I started doing that for one of the groups, and then I ended up doing it for several different real estate investor meetings in the area. So I would go to, College Park, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, and I would go and speak. And I would do it for free, but that networking was allowing me to get clients because I was able to let them see me as an expert in that area, answer their questions, and do a Q&A, do a presentation, and then I would get clients that way. So that's one way of getting clients. But another way, like I said, is joining an organization and joining a committee or joining a board. So for instance, if you did taxes, you did accounting, join the Lawyers Association, join the Doctors Association, and then join the Finance Committee. And then you're networking with not only the members, but you're networking with the board and the people that are running the organization. So when somebody came to them and said, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody to do my taxes," well, guess what? If you're on the finance committee for that doctors association, for that lawyers association, somebody's going to refer you to those other lawyers or to those other doctors and say, "Hey, he's on our finance committee. He knows what he's doing." And then that's how you can get clients. So, joining an organization and volunteering is a great way to network and just make sure it's the kind of clients that you want. So that's something that you can do to get clients.
That's cool. Great advice, man. Great advice. Industry trend, future vision. What are the biggest trends right now to today that that is impacting your business?
Okay. Well, the most important area that affects my business is the new tax laws. The tax laws are constantly changing. Every time you get a new president, every 4 years, there's more than likely going to be a change in some kind of tax laws. Or even every 2 years, as Congress changes over, they write new laws. So you have to always be on top of continuing education credits, and that's something that I do. I'm taking, like 18 hours of continuing education credits every year to keep up with the new tax laws or to become or build my expertise. In this kind of business, you have to be a continual learner. So I'm learning about new financial planning techniques or new techniques for estate planning or new techniques for tax planning. So no matter what business you're in, you should be constantly learning some new techniques to make yourself better and to provide new services to your clients. So I think that's one of the best things that you need to know as a business owner is don't just be stuck in doing things one way. Learn new ways, whether that's learning from going to classes, learning from your peers, or taking continuing education credits to keep abreast of what's changing in your line of work.
Cool. That man, listen, you seem like you got yourself set and you know your work. You know what I mean? You've been like you said, you've been doing it for a long time. What are your long-term goals for the future of your company?
Well, that's a good question. So I don't have long-term goals. I have a short-term goal. My short-term goal is retirement. I'm looking to transition out of my business. So I've already been looking into selling the business, strategies on selling my business, or potentially passing it on to someone else. And I've had those discussions, and and so that's where I'm at this point in my career. I'm looking forward to retirement. I retired from a 9 to 5. I'm just doing this for a couple of years to keep busy. But the goal is to retire from this business in maybe the next couple of years, start collecting some Social Security and start traveling more, with you and the travel fam.
And our travel, and in our travel family, yeah, because we do be traveling, and that's how we met.
Yeah,
And and anybody knows, let me tell you something. This is a house here. We both Jersey people. This is the house here,
yeah,
And when I'm DJing, he loved that house, man. I got to tell y'all, but let's get back to because we can
yeah.
go on and on about
You
this.
can't
Let's
find
get
that
back to
Jersey.
personal insights, man. In personal insights
Mhm.
of your business, or not just insights, just insights in general of how you feel about situations. What's your personal definition of success?
Okay, well, success looks different for everybody. Like success for some people is like, hey, I want to be a millionaire, and or success might be I want to be a famous or something like that. For me, success is about your clients. Are you serving your clients? Are you helping them? And putting them in a better place. Once they meet you. That's what I define success as. Is if a client comes to me and they're like, I don't understand this, or I want to retire at this age. Can I do it? And I sit down with them and I walk them through and I educate them and I collaborate them and say, hey, what are your goals? What are your values? And then I treat them as people because everybody's different. You can't, fit everybody into the same, like a square peg into a round hole. And if you meet that person and you help them, and when they leave you and they're like, man, I learned so much from you, or man, I'm glad I talked to you. This helps me understand something, or my finances are in a better place. And that's how I define my success is by what kind of impact I've had on my clients, what kind of impact I've had on the world. Not about how much money I make, or if I'm on TV, or if I'm famous or not.
Wow. Most people want the money. Most people have gratitude about the money, and which is good sometimes, but client relationships and having them, you know, not be a part of your family and making them feel good about the situation that they are in is a great in any business that you do. When I go out and do my little maintenance stuff, man, I try to please my clients the best that I can because the word of mouth will get you more business, right? So that's cool. That's cool. To always please, to try to please the client. We can't say we always can please them because we know some clients can be, ooh, man. But you gotta do what you gotta do to maintain that relationship. Um, when as you've been doing this business, all this business that you have you had any role models?
Oh, sure, sure, sure. So my first role model was my dad. Believe it or not, when I was growing up, my parents were real estate investors. They had rental properties, and my dad had a day job, and then he also had a side business. So my dad was in construction business like you were. He was a plasterer, so he worked for the local housing authority, and he would plaster, city-owned buildings, things like that during the day. And then, on the weekends and on the evenings, he had his own plastering business. And he would take me to some of these jobs with him. And, when he would go and plaster, these houses. And he like worked on like, multiple buildings. He worked on like the World Trade Center, the original one. He worked on like churches. He worked on restoring like old brownstones. He was like a craftsman. My dad went to like England to learn like how to do craftsmanship, that they didn't have here and they weren't teaching here in the United States. So he was dedicated to that. And so I saw my dad working 7 days a week. And so that gradually, rubbed off on me. So I had a 9 to 5, but then I had a business on the side. And then, when I saw them, they always complained about being real estate investors, about the tenants didn't pay, they had to do evictions. And I actually said, well, I'm never going to be a real estate investor. I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with evictions, all of that kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, I come down to Atlanta and I became a real estate investor. It was just in my blood. And what I found was that in New Jersey, the laws favored the tenants. Down here in Georgia, the laws favored the landlords. So it was a different type of environment. And so then I was able to jump in and feel more confident about being a real estate investor. And I've been through eviction, so I've had to do that too. But, it's been something that for me was a little bit of a different experience. So I would have to say my family, just seeing them with businesses on the side, seeing them with, being real estate investors was just in my blood. And that's what I ended up doing, just following their lead. So those are my role models.
That's great, brother. To hear. Everybody should have a role model, and most people have role models in it. or someone in their family. Um, I was my role model was myself. I mean, it just got well. Actually, my role model was my mother. The things I do, and as you know, that I do a lot of things. It's always great to have somebody that you can look back on and say, "Oh, that person worked this hard, so I need to work this hard. I want to work this hard because I've seen the struggles that they may have went through. I don't want my kids or my generation, my next generation, to go through the struggles. So I'm gonna do it for them and teach them as you teaching them, not just giving away things to them, but just teaching them these things that these ideals and these things that they need to do to push forward. Um, with that being said, we already spoke on this a little bit because we travel a lot. How do you maintain a
Hmm.
healthy work-life balance? That's one of the key to living, having a longevity in life. Right? You still got to have that balance
Absolutely.
between work and your lifestyle.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, when I was growing up, my dad worked 6, 7 days a week. He used to call me a slacker because I only worked 5 days a week. He would be like, "Wake me up on Saturday. I'm going to work. Why are you sleeping?" I'm like, "I work 5 days." He would be like, hey, just shake his head, and that was like it didn't really dawn on me. But now it's like I see it. I was like, I see it. If you want to really sometimes be successful, you have to have more than just a 9 to 5. You have to have, something on the side hustle too, and that will build your wealth, and that also builds character. So what I do to find a work-life balance is I have employees, and I'm able to delegate some of the tax returns. I can't do hundreds of tax returns by myself, so having a team to help me is good for my work-life balance. That's number one. Number two is using technology. I mean, with technology nowadays, it makes things so much easier. Instead of having somebody bring you, 10 or 15 documents to do their taxes, you can have stuff uploaded into a software. So that saves time and money because I have clients literally all over the country. So I can't, have, a California client come to Georgia. So technology is also something that you can utilize to make your business more efficient. And I encourage, business owners to use all the technology out there. Use Google, use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT when I need to, like, let's say, write a letter. I can write a letter and I can have a format, but ChatGPT can sometimes format a little bit better than me. So I will use that. I've used in other areas of my business as well. So technology is important, but also my business, as you know, tax business is most of the time it's you can sort of have a sprint from like February, March, and April is where most of your business is at. Now I do have clients outside of tax season because I'm not sure if you know this or not, but it's a secret. But everybody doesn't file their taxes on time. I have clients who are like sometimes several years behind. Like I just finished somebody's 2021 tax return literally like a month ago, and this is 2025. So I have work all year round. So that's one of the things that helps my business. And I have other services besides just doing taxes. Like I said, I do wills, I do trusts, life insurance. So the whole point is that use technology, have people help you delegate work, and then also have some downtime. I mean, you can't work 7 days a week. That's not productive. And it's not good, for you as a lifestyle standpoint, especially as we get older. So take some time off, smell the roses, go out and enjoy a good meal, go out and get some sun, work out. We both like to work out. So you go to the gym. I got a gym in my basement. So that's more efficient for me to work out at home versus, going to a gym. But working out is good for your work-life balance. And then finally, the most important thing is traveling. I enjoy traveling. I took 8 international trips last year. Obviously they were all after tax season. I didn't do any traveling until May. And that's sort of the way what I do is I don't do any traveling, from January to April, and then I'll travel, towards the end of the year. But those trips, are definitely, great for work-life balance, along with the other things I mentioned, previously.
That's crazy. That's great. I mean, traveling is number one key, and we always seem to meet around these traveling places, man. Especially Aruba. You know what I mean? That's our spot. But let's talk about we're running out of time, but let's talk about the last question, right? What's the most rewarding aspect of being a business owner? Because everybody wants that rewarding moment.
The most rewarding thing about being a business owner to me is you can make your own schedule. You don't have to enter to somebody else and say, hey, I got to go and be in this office 9 to 5. I can set my own hours. I can do a 9 to 5. I can do a 10 to 6. I can do an 11 to 7. I can take a day off and just block my calendar off. I do that sometimes. I can, go away and travel whenever I want. And one of the things about my business is that I can do my business from anywhere. So as long as I have internet, I can run my business. So I can be in the U.S., I can be in a foreign country. And unfortunately, I've been on vacation and had to work sometimes on vacation, but I only do it for a short period of time to check in or answer an email or things like that. But just having that freedom to be able to go anywhere I want, whenever I want, that's what to me is the most rewarding thing about being a business owner.
Cool. In a nutshell, as we end, give the people how give the people a rundown of what you do, how they can get in contact with you, your website, you got a website, whatever. Just give them the information so the people that's watching this can get in touch with you. If they need help in real estate, if they need help in finances, if they need help in taxes, just give them a rundown of how they can get in touch with
Sure.
you in the overall aspect of everything that you do in a nutshell.
Sure. So again, the name of my firm is Hampton Tax and Financial Services LLC. You can find my website at hamptonfinancialllc.com. Again, hamptonfinancialllc.com. On the website, you can send me a message through the website. You can book a free consultation through the website. You can read articles about some of the magazines I've been interviewed in. I've been interviewed in Yahoo Finance, Financial Planning Magazine, interviewed in Black Enterprise Magazine twice. So that's where you can learn about my firm. That's where you can book an appointment, and that's where you can find out about our services. HamptonFinancialLLC.com. And thank you again, Mark. I appreciate this opportunity.
Hey man, Bill, I thank you for being my first person, man. I enjoyed it, man. This is gonna be something special for everyone to either learn or grow from these podcasts that I'm really trying to put out there. I'm trying to do business owners, regular people. I may do a few, people who've been artists or actors or whatever. I don't know, because I know a lot of people, as we all know a lot of people. So, but I really want to do the everyday 9 to 5 or the everyday business owner whose not face is not always shown in the public. Because some people can be famous and they can get on and they can speak a lot of things, but are they going to show me and teach me how to do it? Because I can't get in touch with them. I can't talk to them. There's no way for me to send them an email to ask them questions. Well, you got a website, and it comes directly to you, and people can talk to you. People can get to know you, know your business. And sometimes, like I'm here about giving free information out to people. That's what I want to do because I understand people have businesses and they want to sell courses, but I've seen some ridiculous prices, to help a person. We all struggle financially. Some of us all struggle financially sometimes, and some,
Mhm.
not finances. So I don't think there is anything wrong with giving information to people. Some people you can give information to, and they still wouldn't know what to do with it. So they're going to need other
Yeah.
people's help. They're going to still need other people's help. Some people are not have computer literacy. They don't know how to work the computer. Some people have done many years in prison or something and don't know how to either even operate a new cell phone. So there's people that, come home every day that needs help, and that's what I'm here for, to help people out and give them information and give them ways to get in touch with people who have that information readily available to them. But anyway, I
Well,
appreciate you, my brother. We'll see each other soon, hopefully. Um, Thank you for taking the
absolutely.
time out on this beautiful Sunday. We had some bad weather yesterday, last night, but today it's beautiful. Get out there and enjoy the rest of your day, my brother, because I am about to go to the gym, like you said. Even though I have a gym in my house as well, I don't have that motivation to be in my gym. I got to motivate myself at another gym. But brother, appreciate that, man, and I thank you for
Well,
taking the
thank you.
time out once again.
Well, Well,
Have a,
thank you for having me, and I appreciate what you're doing, man. I appreciate this podcast and what you're trying to help other people, and hopefully you can have me back, and I can talk about my other business. I'm
oh
a
yeah,
film producer
yeah.
also, so I have a documentary film that is going to be premiering in a couple of weeks at Kansas City Film Festival. So I'd love to come back and talk to you about my documentary film at a later date.
We need to do that documentary, that podcast within a week before your thing actually premieres. Think it's better
Okay.
for you to do it before. So set me up sometime. You know how to get in touch with me. We'll set up some time so we can speak on that because that needs to be done soon because it's next week, right?
Actually, like 2 weeks.
In
In
two
two
weeks,
weeks,
okay.
it's
Well,
going to be
let's set up some time and we'll get back on that podcast. All right, my brother.
absolutely, absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. Thank
Pleasure,
you
man.
again.
Appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day,
All right.
brother.
All
All
right,
right.
you too.
Salute.